live and in action. Wednesday? No, it's Tuesday. So, what does that mean to me? It means I've got a live with my boy Shelby. Hopefully he's going to join here shortly. Let me see if I can invite him. It's always a struggle to get people to join. Oh, that's better. What's up, princess? Hello. You got one here. Hi. Hello. I'm waiting for Shelby to join currently. Funny that you happen to jump on the Instagram the same time I'm on the live. And there's Shelby, perfect timing. Bada bing, bada boom. He's in. And I'm going to invite. He should be able to join now. It's always a little bit of a struggle to get connected. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Request to join. 100, 100, 100. Now you should be able to join. Oh, there we go. Boom. Should be able to join here. Yeah, this Instagram Live never seems to work quite right. Come on, man. We can't hear you. Oh no, that's even worse. Yo.
Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. What's going on? I like your background already. You got the Porsche back there.
Oh, yeah. Got the little car and the little dirt bikes up there. Keep me feeling like I'm out enjoying life. I'm working in the office.
I know you got some dirt bikes in real life. Is that your car in real life too?
Yeah, it's one of my cars I built about 2 years ago. So I spent about a year and a half building it, and then ended up selling it about a year ago. So now I've got the BMW Bug, and got the E92 M3. So the last V8, or the only V8 M3 chassis they built. That's also a super fun car. So building that one right now.
Dude, that's fucking sick. So you're building them, huh?
Yeah, just enjoy like kind of like an autocross, cars and coffee, and canyon carver car. So, coilover, suspension, short shift, some race seats, stuff like that, just to keep it fun. Then I got my my dailies, the pickup, so it's a lot easier to drive around, be comfortable.
Dude, that's sweet. Porsche is one of the, maybe not one of the few, but one of the few that I know of that actually like tends to either hold their value or actually appreciate. Like it's actually a true asset as a vehicle, which I think is interesting.
It's so true. I know if I would have bought like one of those GT cars, obviously prior to COVID, they would have gone up almost 30-40%. It's just nuts.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, what I do know about you, you're in Idaho, right?
Yes, I'm in Boise, Idaho, and I've been out here since late 2014. So just coming up on almost, I guess, 10 years coming up, which is crazy. Feels like it's only been a few years because everything's just been going so fast and everything's been booming here.
What's your story before Boise?
I was in Silicon Valley in California, San Jose area. So I worked in tech for 9 years, tech sales and software, all that kind of stuff. Traveled, did outside sales, and grew up in the Bay Area and I was born in Washington and then in Hawaii for like a real small portion when I was little, like when I was 3 or 4 years old, and then been in the Bay Area ever since till I moved here. So
Do
pretty
you
fun.
cognitively remember Hawaii, or were you too young to actually?
I was pretty young, but I remember certain like little like I'll have little images pop in or reminders from like some of the old photos we had, family photos or family video stuff. But yeah, I lived in Aiea. On Oahu, so it was a while back. But I know our house from pictures and stuff. I visited since, looked over Pearl Harbor, which was really cool. So it'd be fun to go back again. I've only been back there once since I was real little. It'd be fun to go with my family.
So how come you guys ended up leaving? I feel like once you go to Hawaii, that's not somewhere you usually want to leave again.
Yeah, my dad, like I said, I was real little, but my dad he worked construction rebar and stuff. So he was building some of the highways out there back in, I don't even know, was that the late 80s, early 90s? So it's a while back now. But yeah, he was on contract out there helping them get that stuff going. And yeah, it seems Hawaii was really, it's an amazing, beautiful place, of course, but I think there's a lot more opportunity and cohesion when you come to like California and the Bay Area at that time too. In the 90s, it was a wonderful place to grow up. I absolutely loved California.
Yeah. What was growing up like for you? Did you have brothers,
Yeah,
sisters? Did you guys
yeah.
fight a
So
lot? What was the family dynamic?
yeah, my mom was a teacher and my dad worked rebar and construction, and he's still in the industry now. He's in the upper management and sales side, which he enjoys a lot. But grew up with my little brother. He's about 5.5 years younger than me or so, and we share all the same hobbies and all the same interests and stuff. So that was a lot of fun. And nowadays he's here now too. My whole family is in Idaho now,
Oh,
and
no.
a lot of my extended family too. And then I've got my older sister. She's the only one that's she's in Fresno area, so Central Valley in California still. But she's about 6 years older than me, and she's also a teacher. And she's got some kids, and so I've got lots of nephews and nieces. And then yeah, it's been pretty cool being out here in Idaho, and I guess started my family out here. I've got 2 little boys now. Married to my wife almost 5 years, Angie, and it's been pretty cool.
Was that a intentional move to go to Idaho for
Yeah,
kind of the environment and whatnot, or what took you out that
yeah.
way?
Growing up in California, just touching on that a little more, it was wonderful, right? Like it's absolutely perfect weather in my opinion. Beautiful outdoor access, and you've got the redwoods, the ocean, the mountains, like everything you could imagine. But over time, just massive, massive population density, and creates a lot of issues and problems and congestion. And after a while, you just get kind of burnt out. I'd be going surfing after work or mountain biking or dirt biking, and you'd be sitting in traffic for so long, and you can just feel the tension and the stress that the whole population seems to be under. And you don't realize that until you actually remove yourself and come out to a place like Idaho. There's a lot of other popular places to transplant from places like California and the West Coast, but Idaho and Boise was the top place out of the list of places I'd considered at that point, simply just because it's just such a great place for family and community. The stress level was substantially noticeably less. There's just not as much people that are just irritated and mad and kind of at the edge of their seat all the time. And then just to get around and get to the outdoors, a lot easier access for the things I enjoy doing. Everything's within a stone's throw from my house right now, and I can go play and enjoy at lunchtime, come back to work or go after work or stuff like that. So just a great place to land and raise a family in a safe environment with great community and good policies and beliefs. So
Yeah, I think there's something to say too about city living versus more rural living and the grounding I feel like that comes with getting out of the city and getting back into nature, getting back into like the God-given
Yes.
non-man created environment. There's something, super stress relieving
Oh yeah.
about getting out there. I know me in Chicago, I've got it on my list to go hiking just once a quarter. And it's like I have to drive, an hour, 2 hours just to get somewhere that feels like
Man.
remotely like a hike. So,
Yeah, that's tough. I think after living how I've lived in Idaho now for the years I've been here, it would be really difficult for me to go back to something that would be like that. And there's still access in California for sure. Like, you can still get out and hike and go mountain bike and stuff. It's just that the parking lots are always full and there's always people around. There's just so many policies and rules and restrictions and fees, and it's just like, man, just like over it. You just want to be, like you said, like just go experience God's creation and be out in nature and just like enjoy it. And like even last week when it was nice out in the evening, we went for like a 2 mile hike with the family, with the boys, and just played around. Some friends met up, and like it's so nice. It's only about 15 minutes from my house, and it's just gorgeous. So yeah, it feels like freedom.
yeah, that's probably the good definition of freedom. I was wondering, growing up with your dad in the trades, in especially rebar. I mean, I have a big construction background myself, and the rod busters, as we used to call them, are some of the most hard-nosed men that I've met in my life. Is there some specific traits that you for sure picked up from your dad being in the trades and being a man with his hands?
Yeah, he's like he's as tough as nails, man. Like I remember, I mean, if you said rod buster, so you know the trade just by you saying that. But he'd come home some days with holes in his hands from rebar or ties going through, and just duct tape it, work the rest of the day. Just like, oh my gosh, this guy's like a beast. And yeah, he was like Superman. And he just every day just relentless and go to work, and he'd kill it, and he'd be like the fastest one all the time. I know when he was younger, prided himself on always like getting the most ties done and the most rods laid and everything. And I remember like on his right shoulder from carrying, hot rebar so long for so many years, there was a patch of hair that ended up growing on his right shoulder, which is just wild. It just shows like, the grit that he had. So I think the traits I picked up from him were definitely like just that drive and like not accepting no for an answer, just like keep going and persisting through, anything that's hard. I apply it probably differently just because I'm not in a trade set, but
Mm-hmm.
the mindset has been invaluable in my career for sure. Just being like a go-getter, and that's what he was. He was always seeking to be the best in his scene and in his circle, and I seek to do the same in mine. And I appreciate that. And he was always, that's a rough scene to be in, and I respect him so much as a man and a leader in my household because there's a lot of people just living maybe not healthy lives in that industry, and he was always leading in a healthy way and coming home. He never had like foul language. Like he was just such a good man. So and still respected tremendously in his field.
Yeah, yeah, that's like one of the most amazing things to hear, right? Is because like so often, like especially in the trades, right? I worked in that industry for 10 years, and still in like the smaller residential construction space, but now being in coming out of that large residential space is like it's just the norm to go get drinks after work, right? It's
Yeah,
the norm to want to go have a beer. It's a norm to have too many, not have too many, but have some drinks after work, right? I know I fell
oh
into
yeah,
that habit myself because it's just that's what everyone's doing. And to hear that your dad was
he was
leading the way
humble.
and not following that trend is, a very inspiring thing because I think we need more men like that who are out there
Yeah.
doing their thing and then not having to, use some type of vice after getting done with it.
Yeah, yeah, he was amazing. He's like him and my mom both just were amazing leaders in marriage and parenting and just helping raise us in a way that I hope I can raise my kids. So trying to
What
apply those things every day.
what do you think what do you think kept your dad away from the, usual
Yeah,
characteristics of someone working in the trades?
I know like within my family, it's been our faith in God and our relationship with God and knowing that we have a purpose bigger than the things that can kind of hold us back for sure. I definitely went through like seasons in my life for sure where I definitely went and did the drinking and the partying and all that stuff too. And, you know, after putting your toes in that water, it's like for me, just knowing what God's brought in my life, it doesn't compare at all in contrast to what temporary, you know, highs or lows can provide. So just always come back to home, I guess. And it's brought me my life with my wife and my family. And I've actually stopped drinking a couple years ago now. Just my body, like as I get older, doesn't like alcohol. So it just like rejects it. So I've been almost 2.5 years or so without any alcohol, and it's been great. My body loves it. I sleep better. My clarity's better, and I think it's becoming more of a trend too as people seek health and efficiency and success these days. I think it's becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, I had it on my goals in 2023 to quit. I ended up not drinking like 303 out of 365 days.
Nice.
And then drinking and smoking for me, because I was the ultimate addiction fiend for drinking, smoking,
Yeah.
sex, fill in vice here. Gambling was one thing I never did because I was too cheap to gamble. But every other one, I was that guy, the biggest narcissistic traded person, unaware, self-absorbed. And yeah, making that jump and quitting drinking and smoking, and now I'm still working on like in moderation here and there, and I can like see the impact, like you said, that it has on my body. Like I'm able to wake up, at a drop of a hat now and feel good with less sleep. And so I think that's like one of the most important things for me is like I'm just able to do what I need to do. Like just like you, is like I gotta get up and get going. And when I was drinking or smoking, I would just wake up so foggy, just so like not wanting to get up and get going. And now it's like I usually can't wait to get up and start my day. Like I love waking up. I take a knee and thank the man, and then get back to doing what I'm doing. But yeah, getting those different vices off are super helpful.
A big thing for me too is when we started having kids, it's crazy. Like you're up a lot during our first one, didn't sleep much during the first, year or so. So like I was up a lot in the middle of the night, and I was like, dude, there's no way I can have a beer and relax and go to bed and then wake up like, 2 hours later, and then 3 hours later. It's like, all right, it's so much better being just clear-minded. So there's a lot of benefits, in my opinion, for sure, that far outweigh any of the potential social express benefits that I don't think are as important. So God will sustain us. And if I want to meet with people, I do coffee dates and stuff and hang out and get to know people that way or this way. Social media is so amazing and powerful too.
Yeah, it's been a wild change for me to make those jumps. And then it's just like, and then it's like snowballs the other way, right? For a while, I'm snowballing down the wrong way, and all of a sudden once you're building that momentum the right way, it just I don't know, you just feel so much better, so much more fulfilled. And yeah, it's hard to explain to people until you've kind of made some of those jumps yourself. But I encourage anyone listening to strongly consider.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
continue on that journey, dude.
What about moving to Boise? So was it was intentional to go do real estate, or what was that transition? Because obviously
ended up moving out here, and kind of everything when I ended up moving out here, been out for about 2 years or so. And I was previously married for a couple years, and we ended up parting ways. And during that process, I ended up the job I was working in tech. I'd worked in tech for like 9 years, and it was really a great situation. I was getting paid real well and working very little for the most part. So kind of called it golden handcuffs. I didn't really have much motivation to seek something else within what I could do, just because it'd be foolish to leave something that was so consistent and stable in my mindset back then. And I ended up, the company I worked for is a big company. They got, they had a acquisition with HPE merger kind of thing, and they ended up nixing their U.S. territory team, which I was on. And so I ended up starting pretty much my life over, right? Like had a new place I was living. I was single at the time again, and then ended up jobless for a while. So I had a little severance package and kind of took that time to find myself, I guess you could say. and took some trips. Went to Costa Rica on a mountain bike trip. Went out and about with friends a lot and just kind of like figured out like, what am I doing? Where do I need to be? Do I go back to the Bay Area and get a tech job again? Do I want to do that life? And ended up just kind of feeling called to stay in Idaho and start fresh. And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Ended up meeting my wife. And yeah, it's been a blessing for sure in hindsight. And at that time, it was like, well, I love working with people. I had purchased 2 properties at that point in time, so real estate was something I'd experienced on the buyer side as a customer, and so it was a good opportunity for me to still work with people, travel less because I didn't like traveling for work. Like I'd fly out all the time to places, and it was just the same rodeo every time, you know, suit and tie kind of deal. And then being able to stay local, work with people, and work on a product that's relatively simple, for lack of better words, but also very interesting. So real estate's amazing. And through that, I've learned so much about wealth building and development and just lots of different strategies and creativity that you can apply to such an amazing asset class.
And so are you only investing in Boise area, or are you investing out of state too?
We have out-of-state properties as well. So right now our holdings are in Idaho, Tennessee, Texas, and Oklahoma. So fairly conservative states from a policy perspective for landlords, and fairly stable growth economies for what we've invested in for short and long term. And rents have been relatively strong there as well. So.
And then as far as asset class, is what it kind of
all,
class are you at?
All single family. We have a couple multi-units, so duplex and like a mixed use duplex plus commercial space kind of thing. But we've stayed within the single family realm for the most part on all our units.
Okay. And then in Idaho, still you're transacting as an agent too, correct?
Yeah. So like my daily, my active income, what puts food on the table is helping people buy and sell their properties and invest in Idaho. So primarily a lot of people that are looking to follow the path that I took, transplanting from California to here for quality of life and community and affordability. Those are the folks that I've really worked a lot with because they're really easy to relate with, and I can help them kind of pave that path and give them comfort and reassurance in what they're doing and where they're ending up and what type of property they're ending up identifying. So I love doing that.
Was that something you had started before you left tech, or did you pick that up right away?
No, I started out in 2017. I got licensed in May of 2017, and ended up just I have a sales background in 9 years, so going out and meeting and finding clients was what I did for other companies for so many years. So I just ended up applying those same skill sets to real estate and finding deals through my network, through cold calling, door knocking. You still there?
Yeah.
So doing all the outreaches to find clients and stuff, and started slowly but surely, right? So I was at that time I was starting over, like I mentioned, from zero. So it was like I was living with as many roommates as possible, help cover my mortgage, and just grinding every day. And I still doing that today, just applying it to different aspects of my business to grow and delegate in different capacities. So
what are your top sales tips for someone who doesn't have a sales background? What are the top 3 things they should be doing if they're a new real estate agent?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is finding a mentor who's where you want to be, sitting down with them, finding someone who's kind of where you're at, seeing what they're doing, like collectively collaborate and talk about it. And as you learn and progress in your skill set, find someone behind you so that you can teach it, so that those skills become really cemented within you. And then in tangent, while you're learning, the contract law, you're learning the areas, the strategies for negotiation and doing those things, at the same time, be proactively networking and connecting and doing lead generation. Whether that's, everyone has different tactics. You can do mailers, you can do sit downs, you can do coffee setup or coffee hangouts, you can do cold calls, you can do IG videos, like whatever it is, doesn't really matter. As long as you're putting out some sort of connection invite to people for potential clients. So I think those are a few main things. And as you get a little bit of traction, you apply what's worked and you really niche down on your area. So like for me, over time, door knocking hasn't fulfilled any of those things, right? But it's great to practice and put the reps in and be consistent and disciplined. But those same traits I've applied more so to social media and to sit downs. Now I more so strategically sit down with people that are curious about investing and help them articulate their strategy based on their goals and their situations. So that's, taking my experience that I've developed over time and now applying it in the same manner to find new clients and help people out. So it's pretty cool.
So did you actually do some real door knocking in Boise?
Oh yeah, hundreds of doors, man.
Tell me about it. Most people haven't actually knocked doors ever in their life, myself included. So, maybe like once or twice as a joke saying someone would call my bluff. But tell me about door knocking. I don't think enough people really have the experience of getting up and being uncomfortable.
It's interesting for sure. You get to learn, you have to learn, and you have to be quick on your feet to be able to communicate with people, read their body language. It's mostly a nonverbal learning tactic, I think, that's super valuable for any interactions with people in general. So, you knock on the door. Like I had someone, he threatened me with like he's gonna come find my house and all this stuff. Ended up actually having to call the cops and like make sure everything was cool. But being in Idaho, you have a lot of rights, so it's okay. But yeah, it's a good mix of people. Some people are really gracious and great to talk to and really kind. Other people will tell you to F off and get off my property and all that stuff. So you just have to be, if anything in sales or entrepreneurship, you have to learn to be okay with no, even when it's tough and it hurts. It doesn't really ever get like the sting doesn't really lessen over time, I found, for me at least. But you have to understand that that's 9 out of the 10 pulses are going to typically be rejection. So you need to be okay with rejection if you want to grow.
Do you got a top secret one-liner that you're using door knocking?
Oh, man, that was a long time ago. I think back then it was me just trying to figure out who would open the door and talk to me. And I would just introduce that, hey, I'm a local agent, real estate agent in the neighborhood here. I was just wanting to connect with some of my neighbors and let them know that I'm available to go over any ideas or any consults based on, what your home may be worth since things have moved so much lately. Have you been interested in what your home value is lately, or do you even know? And just kind of open the door or something like that, depending on what it is. But usually kind of soften them up with, if they got a dog, pet the dog and ask them the name, or, say something about their house, or if they have a cool car, just try to open the door and be personable. People like to talk about their lives and such. So,
yeah, I always at my networking events, I go with the 3 C's. I go with the confidence, compliments, and then commonality. So I go in with confidence, I come in with a compliment, and then usually from the compliment, I can find something we have in common and move it into that direction. But no, I love it. Finding a way to add value to them right away, like ask them if they're curious about their home value. Dude, that to me is genius, because who doesn't want to know what their home value is? And even like throwing in something like, that's estimate, that's not even probably close to what your real home value is. And let me give you the details, I love that type of stuff. I got to run right at noon, or at least noon my time. I know you're Ginger969, so everyone should be following you. Is there any other good ways they should be connecting?
You just look up Shelby Paget, my name, first and last, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever, Facebook. I'm all over the place. So always looking to connect with people and consult on investing or buying, selling, building, whatever it is. All
right, brother. Well, hopefully I can come out and ride some dirt bikes. Idaho, because I need to get out in God's country, because this city living's killing me.
Fun. They got some rentals out here. You can come swoop and we can go out for the day.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
All right, yeah.